What's your name and pronouns?
My name is Appau Jnr Boakye-Yiadom, and my pronouns is he, him.
Can you tell us a little bit about your work at Site Gallery?
So my work at Site Gallery, I have created a work which is a multi-channel installation where you have 3 projectors, so one on the main back wall and 2 freestanding projectors, 2 cube monitors which are butted together, sandwiched together, and LCD flat screen which is in the space as well. So there's a 6-screen installation where I have gathered footage over the period of roughly 3 months of me learning a single drum track, and which people come, so the footage is my footage in this process, and alongside that we have footage from cinematographers and photographers.
Where do you go when you want to be inspired?
Where do I go when I want to be inspired? Right, I suppose the obvious place I go when I want to be inspired is I like to see a lot of shows. That's you know, I like to go see a lot of exhibitions, like to go see films. I'm sure, like many of you, I try to keep my eyes open, so I'm always ready for inspiration to come towards me.
When making a new piece of work, what comes first? Does the work come from making, or does it come from an idea?
So a lot of the times it comes from ideas. Sometimes things surprise you within the work. But you know, with most things, you start with an idea, and it sort of shifts as you make it, becomes something else. And that's the point when you have to think to yourself, do I continue with the sort of foundation that I was thinking of, or do I move away and allow the work to develop into new territories, really?
How did you get interested in drumming?
How did I get interested in drumming? Okay, that's a good question. So the drumming came about from using percussions within previous works. And so I suppose the last 4 to 6 years before I started the particular piece that that's at Site Gallery, before that project began, I had made various projects in which drumming was a sort of key element within it. And I suppose the use of drumming for me, I'm always interested in trying to move away from trying to use non-linguistic practices. So where drumming is important, it's the fact that, you know, most cultures have a form of drumming which they either use or sort of use to communicate, use to within traditional ceremonies, or it takes various forms, but it's something that can be identified, let's say universally across many different cultures within the world. So I quite like the fact that you can't really ignore drums. It's something, you can't be impartial to it. It's sort of, because of its sound, you either hate it in terms of it's a bit loud, or it's not your thing, or it sort of takes effect on you. It has that sort of what would you say that is? You start to engulf it. It can take its time on you, and you can have a sense of flow with it. You can become a part of that.
What piece of work or project are you most proud of?
I think it's the most work that I'm really proud of, that's allowed me to sort of move into this new area, is when I started to introduce this live aspect within exhibitions. And that particularly happened with a piece that an exhibition at the Jerwood. It was like Solo's presentation at Jerwood, in which I had an exhibition, and halfway through the exhibition, the space in which I had my work sort of altered, and I invited a live percussionist, so somebody who was playing the drums, to perform, but then they were concealed. And it was just that was just the step in which, right, introducing live performances within an exhibition setting, and also this idea of things changing during the course of exhibition. This idea that the exhibitions don't have to stay in the same state from the start to the end. So that particular piece of work really allowed me to start putting that into action, those ideas that I was thinking about into action.
Do you think you'll always be an artist?
Do I think I'll always be an artist? I mean, I'm going to try to be, but I think it's to be an artist is a way of thinking about things. I think a lot of people are artists that don't realize it or haven't had an art practice. You can put the way of thinking or sort of being in tune to really considering or breaking out of a pattern, which I kind of think is part of being an artist, is seeing things differently or recognizing a pattern and highlighting that, or emphasizing that fact, that breaking out of that. So to basically think of new ways of looking at things, which is something that's beyond making. I would say it's a sort of way of seeing the world in some respects. So in that respect, I'm not sure. I hope I can always have the opportunity to make things, but I think I will always see things in a particular way, which I recognize a lot of people do. And there's a lot of creative people, as I say, that not necessarily have an art background that do that.
What advice would you give to young artists?
I think most artists that I admire show a sense of process and progress rather than this finished, beautiful thing. It's sometimes you can look at art and you think, I'm more interested in seeing where this might be going in a year, 2 years' time, rather than what it's shown at that moment. So enjoy it. You can enjoy it. Don't try and look too intelligent. I'd say embrace failure.